everybody in Liverpool certainly are wanting to know what is the situation with Barcola at PSG. Is it a possibility that he could end up at Anfield?
I do believe it so. We have to be patient. It seems that Paris Saint-Germain is keen to let him go, but they want big money. Barcola has refused to make a new deal after 2028, so this is the perfect window to sell him. The fixed price given by Paris Saint-Germain is 135 million pounds, and it seems the offer of Liverpool so far is around 100 million. So I guess within the next 2 or 3 weeks, an agreement might be settled. The player is definitely willing to play for Liverpool. This is quite obvious. Then he's not a free transfer, so the question mark is still there between the two clubs.
Tell me, Eric, because you could argue that Barcola is not a natural starter in the PSG team, but then they have Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, so they've got incredible talent. So where do you rank him in them four strikers I just talked about? Kvaratskhelia, Doué and Dembele and him. Do you think he's the number one of them, or do you think he would be second, third, or maybe even fourth choice?
You know, with Luis Enrique is sweeping most of the players on the left side of the offensive squad. He has three options with Gvara, with Barcola, and with Désiré Doué, and he will have even more now with new players signing. Barcola is the perfect team player. Whatever you use him first choice, after 60 minutes, he will go on the bench. And if you use him as a sub, he will enter in the 60 minutes. He's not a first 11, but there is no first 11 really at Paris Saint-Germain regarding the FA Cup, the Champions League, the French National Premier League. So altogether, he plays 40 to 50 games. So I guess if he goes to Liverpool, it's because he believes, whatever you think about Premier League and Liverpool legend and so on, he do think and he does expect to play as a first 11. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
What do you think Barcola would bring to Liverpool then?
He will bring the fact that he comes from the best club in the world at the moment. He has won twice the Champions League. He works in a club where the dressing room policy is no superstar, no single-minded person. We get rid of Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi just to have normal profile players. He's a normal profile player. What he will bring to Liverpool is that he is educated by Luis Enrique, and Luis Enrique wants player with a team spirit, not single-minded spirit. Of course, they can be gifted and give their individual talent, but they need to work as team player. And I think when you have achieved what Paris Saint-Germain have achieved in the last 2 seasons, for once, a French player can bring something in terms of European power to a club like Liverpool, which is a European legend, but needs to restore the legend.
And now it's time to go through a little bit of transfer rumours, JP. PSG winger Bradley Barcola is open to leaving PSG as Arsenal and Liverpool both interested in the European Championship. Insist he's not for sale, but things could change if they had a player in his position. He's over with, obviously, at the World Cup at the moment. He's part of that unbelievable attack that France have. I'm slightly surprised he's come available and he's in this position, Jam. I mean, you're Mob Liverpool interested in him. This is going to turn a lot of heads.
Yeah, he's a great talent. And you've got Kvaratskhelia on one side and Désiré Doué on the other. So he's getting limited game time. And when you've got that ability and you're good enough to play most teams around the world, you are going to get a little bit frustrated. And there's obviously, and when you've got teams like Liverpool who are always going to be competing, well, just close, but in the Champions League, it's hard to, will get turned. But if you're Liverpool, this is fantastic news because they need a player like Barcola who's quick and who's aggressive and likes to run at players, and especially on that left-hand side as well, because Gakpo's not, it's kind of failed to deceive at the moment, and you're relying on a young player, Rio, and Gamara has just turned 18.
Yeah, you're right. He will alert a lot of teams around Europe, and as we said, that Arsenal and Liverpool are both apparently sniffing around.
I'll make a prediction that he'll win Young Player of the Year. You talk about Diamonde and the money that's talked about him. Rio will have a better career than him, in my opinion. Areola knows he's got a lot of work to do. I trust in what he can do, because the good news about Areola is he went through this with Bournemouth. He lost the whole back four.
Yeah.
And he had some late signings at Bournemouth, and look how they turned out, and look what he did. And I'm pretty sure with the Liverpool ownership, I can be critical of any ownership, including my own, that over the years, they've spent money, and they've won a couple of league titles. Last year, they spent nearly £500 million. You could argue that maybe they overspent in some areas and should have spent in others.
But that's hindsight. Nobody was criticising the window.
100% everyone thought we'd walk the league.
Yeah.
And this is football 12 months later, where everyone thinks now we're the worst top 6 team in the Premier League. So I dare say Liverpool will look very different by the time the window closes. And by the way, they've got a lot of young talent in that squad. I know everyone's trying to say, they need 10 new pieces or whatever else, but they still have a lot of good young players.
Feels like it could be a big year for N'Gamawa, bearing in mind they're trying to sign wide players, but they haven't yet managed to get anyone.
He will be a sensation this year. I'll make a prediction that he'll win Young Player of the Year in the Premier League, without a doubt. And they're probably more confident because of him and because he can play left and right side.
Do you think that's why they're relaxed?
Absolutely.
About signings up top.
What would you pay to go and sign a 7? You talk about Diamonde and the money that's talked about him. I would even debate and argue that he'll have a better career.
And he's only a little bit older, Diamonde.
Rio will have a better career than him, in my opinion. And I think he's going to be an absolute sensation. And that's probably why out wide. And that, look, I agree with Carragher where he said the right side. That's why I'm not so over the top on Barcola. I think we need a right side winger. We do. And we got the Spanish boy coming in as well. So I'm worried about the right. I'm not so worried about the other side. And to be fair, Isak looked pretty fit in that game. They've got holes to fill. I think they'll fill them. I would expect at least 3 signings before the end of the window. And if they're the right signings and everyone comes back fit, they won't have an issue. And
actually, if you look at the transfer window, and you talked about this when we were in last week, July was very quiet, one of the quietest in recent memory because of the World Cup, and everybody was distracted by that.
Delayed.
Also, actually, if you just look at the transfer market in general, yes, we've had some blockbuster deals. We've had British record signings in Elliot Anderson and Morgan Rogers. But actually, if you go beneath that, there's a lot of clubs with business still to do. Manchester United fans would tell you they need 2 or 3 players still. Arsenal, relatively quiet so far in the window.
It's just Chelsea and Tottenham that are kind of the Harlem Globetrotters going out and signing players at the moment. And if you trickle down the league, we were saying this the other day, we're speaking to a couple of League One clubs. A lot of clubs in League One and League Two, it's a loan city. You're just seeing loans all over the place now because the Prem teams have come back from tour. All the young players now being released to go out on loan. But you're not seeing massive amounts of permanent signings. So the trickle effect hasn't really started yet, but I think it will. It'll ramp up.
It's needed, well and truly needed. Like I said, Leone's come back from a major injury.
Yeah.
He really is. Not playing the Prem, but a major injury coming back for. Jacko signed, got injured also, so it's one of them not Premier League proven. And then you have Joe Gomez. Unfortunately, I don't like saying this term, but it is. Unfortunately, he's injury prone. And if he wasn't, he'd be borderline next to Van Dijk week in, week out. But that's part and parcel of football.
Yeah.
And then you're left with Verge. We need someone else. We need strength. I think Liverpool are 4 or 5 signings short. I really do. But this is a good statement. This is a statement of intent for me. It really is. And he's going to play with Virgil at the back. And it just shows that at least Iraola's trying to put Liverpool in the direction that it needs to go and what he's obviously been promised that he can do in this transfer window.
There was some random reports, and then apparently there's no truth in it at all, but Jed Spence to Liverpool. Would you take Jed Spence? He had a great World Cup, didn't he?
But to play as a left back or
That's the
right
thing, he's
back.
versatile, isn't
Yeah,
he?
but I'm not sure. It's a hard one. I think if he plays, you're a Tottenham fan, right? So for me, I think if he plays for your club, you can love him. If you don't really see enough of him, or he brings enough. I feel that, to be honest with you, and this is to Jeremy Frimpong also, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson have set the bar so high a fullback position for Liverpool. It's going to be so tough, whoever comes in, to hit them heights. It really is. We see that with Kirkes last year. Now, did he perform the way he did at Bournemouth? Every chance. But because the spotlight's on him at Liverpool week in, week out, it's easily to be penalised. And that was obviously what happened with Kirkes last year.
Would you take Trent back?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I really would. I don't understand why people don't think they would take him back.
Well, we was on the other evening and we spoke to some Liverpool fans and, people of the city were adamant, no way, lad. He can't come back.
Yeah, and I think that
I said, but remove the emotion for both parties.
But you can't because
the
that's what football is. Football is built on emotion. So you can't, for me, would I take it back as an ex-pro and looking at it as a Liverpool fan? Absolutely. But you're from that city and it means so much to them and one of your own have left. Maybe there's no way back. But would I take him back? Absolutely.
I think someone like Real Madrid is almost